Who here considers themselves a leader?
I knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader,
characteristics of leaders
I had to take responsibility.
who are thriving and what they do differently.
Welcome to the Everyday School Leadership Supported podcast series. My name is Fran Palukai, and in this series, I speak with school leaders from across Europe about a variety of topics based on research cards developed by Loes van Wessem, Rieneke Pruis, and others. These research cards function as practical tools that you can use to tackle everyday challenges within your organization.
Welcome, everyone, to this podcast episode in which we are going to talk about inclusivity. I am joined today by Stig and Vasili, yes. And Vasili, I believe you have an opening for us, so maybe you want to share what you brought today.
Yes, thank you, Fran. So, there are two basic questions regarding the education of people with disabilities to our schools. The first concerns the content of the programs, the curriculum, and whether they meet their needs. And the second concerns the level of readiness of teachers to implement these programs effectively. Regarding the first issue, the recording of the parents' point of view is of utmost importance. Teachers should listen to the voices of both parents and children regarding the content of the programs as well as the way they are implemented. Working especially with parents will enable them to understand the way the teacher thinks and acts. At the same time, the teachers will recognize the way the parents think, their beliefs and attitudes on educational matters. The characteristics of this cooperation are consistency, honesty, and respect. It must be carried out in scheduled meetings that will give a dynamic dimension. In this context, I believe that it makes sense to mention the teachers' action plans. These are two paragraphs for this podcast in order to start out.
What is the first thought that arises for you when you think
I think
about this?
you are raising good reflection points regarding inclusion. And it's the chain from the child, the student, and the parents into the school and the school's resources, both the prepared one and the ability to actually act on issues that rise through the education, so that the teachers actually have a support also in the staff to help them look into what is actually the needs for these children who have special needs, and trying to keep this education inside the classroom. Because I think that inclusion is actually that you feel that we are a part of the same group, and then you should have your own path, and you have your path, and then you feel like we are actually in a group. And we have seen too much of especially children who have been put out of the class, and I think that's the wrong way. And as you spoken about, we have to try to get a line that you feel as a child. If you need some more in speaking or writing, you feel that you are actually a special child in a good way, not a special child in the way that you feel that you are forced out of the classroom.
I wonder, here in the Netherlands, we have a big shortage of teachers, and classrooms are very big. And I think if a child has special needs, it takes more time and energy from a teacher to provide that. It's more like tailored to a specific child. So do you have any ideas how you can facilitate a teacher to better include all these children, even in an environment where they might not really have a lot of time or energy to do things outside of their regular work?
Same situations we have in Greece. Big classroom, big classes, and in this big number we have pupils with special education needs. So the teacher has to give a lot of effort in order to cover these needs. In your question now, Fran, there's no a specific formula in order to cover these needs. This is the reason that I proposed the first two paragraphs, the action plans from the teachers. The teachers will see the problem, they recognize it, they talk with their colleagues in the school, and they schedule some actions to cover this. This is the philosophy of the action plans, which gives to the teachers the responsibility to speak for their everyday practice. This way will give the respect from the parents to the teachers also, because they will see that the teacher of their children are trying to bring something new and to cover the problems they see in the classroom.
I think that's to follow up on your reflection around the Dutch lack of resources. I think we see the same in Norway, and the big issue is actually that the municipalities, because our organization is that the municipality is actually providing the resources to the school, and they are under a lot of tasks, and we see that the schools are actually losing resources. And that goes not first out of the teacher at first, but at the support team around the teachers, which could be youth workers and so on, because in some situations, what you actually need in a classroom is not necessarily a teacher, but you need somebody else with another education to support the teacher, so that the teacher can teach and the other social worker or so can help the teacher to provide the learning environment. And these resources we see a lack on, and we also see that we have teachers lack on teachers with the possibility to actually serve all these difficult tasks within a class. Because if you have a class of 25 to 30 students, pupils, you will have a lot of pupils who will like to, who will be needing a schedule, a plan, as you talk about, that are individual. And some need more resources, others just need guidance. And in that respect, we will actually see further on lack of resources.
And how do you handle that? How do you have any solutions? Anything you've tried?
I think that trying to get the municipalities to understand that the school today actually needs a strong supportive community as well. That starts there, that they actually can give direct resources to the school when needed. When the teacher have done the assessment and they have talked through the needs for the child, they can actually talk to the community to get resources to help them. But what we see is actually that this is a guidelines from the government, but is actually to be filled with content. So it's made a decision that it should be, and now we are actually trying to tell them that you can't just decide to make a new line. You also need to put some resources into it.
Yes.
Because if not, we are still at the same problems, that the teachers has too much to handle, and then the school leaders had too little resources to provide to support them.
Yeah.
And then you get the difficulties, and you feel like, I think many of us feel that you are stretched, very stretched.
Yes, I can imagine.
Mm.
Maybe, yes?
I would like to add to what Tim states with a paradigm. In my country, there are a lot of islands. Every island is different from the other.
Mm.
This is the picture we have from children with special education needs. Every child is different, has different needs from the other. So we can't speak, we can't talk on specific actions in order to cover their problems. I believe that the teachers in every school have the answers in their problems. What we need is to believe, and every teacher, everyone to the others, and to feel safe to speak and to share his or her thoughts for the way we can cover the problems in our teaching practice.
And how is that for children? Because I could imagine maybe if you have a classroom with children, they also might not include all the other children that have different needs. Do you have any ideas for teachers how they can enable that, or maybe create the right environment also in the classroom that the children include each other?
We live in the characteristics of today is quite difficult for this to bring the children to respect one another. What we see is that the children follow an everyday program. They have a lot of actions in the school and after the school. That actions make difficult for them to see something else which is away from their target. In Greece, the children after the school, they have to learn one or two foreign languages, English, German, or French, and make gymnastics or sports in a team or music. All these actions make a very heavy program, everyday program, from the morning till night. So the children who follow these rules are dedicated to their target, and they don't think for someone else. So the present in their classroom is only for what the teacher showed to them or talks with his classroom or her classroom. So I believe that the problem is quite complicated, not to cover it.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I think that we have recently, for in 2020, established a new values for the Norwegian schools and a new curriculum. And we see that we actually, in this curriculum, we need to talk about the social learning for the children, and the teachers and the schools are actually very important, trying to establish this arena for self-development within the frame of the curriculum. And I think that is one key issue to get students to see that the learning of the topics is we actually first have to have this social arena that we can accept each other. Then we'll also easier start to work with the topics, and I will actually probably see more of inclusion between the children regarding trying to help each other to solve problems, work together in a way that feels like you are fulfilling the class task under the lead of the teacher.
Maybe in closing remarks, with a few more minutes, is there anything
Yes,
you want
I believe that we have to make a statement for the after COVID era we live now. That in Greece the schools were closed, and we teach from long distance. Okay. What we see is 1 year after this state is that the children has some new attitudes in school. So we have to work to reject them, and I believe that the collaborative work is the only solution.
And I think that we actually as school leaders, we have to have the focus on engagement and well-being for every student. And it's a matter of actually trying to bring back this social environment that they have lost during the pandemic. And the teacher and the school leaders' cooperation within the schools and cooperation with the parents are very important that if we should succeed. And as you started on your one point.
Yes. Perfect. Then we end with the start. Gentlemen, thank you both for your time. Is there any place where people can find you online, website, LinkedIn, email, something you want to share?
My mail is vaskotoulas@sch.gr or vaskotoulas@sch.gr.
And put it in the show notes also for people.
And the easiest way for contacting me is through our webpage, which is skolelederforbundet.no.
Sounds so easy. Thank you.
You can visit esha.org/headstart for more information on the research cards and the guests of this episode. This podcast was an Esha production. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.